What's up, guys? Welcome back to the secret headquarters.
Woo!
We
Yeah.
don't call it that anymore.
No, we don't.
We're not Team Action
We're
anymore.
not. We're just Ben and Drew separate entities doing Schmoedown reactions.
We're just a champion and somebody picking up his
Champion. What have you
breadcrumbs.
won? What have you won? Tell me what you've won since you've left.
I'm the most handsome person on this side of the table.
Well, there's two sides to this table. So everybody, go ahead.
Yeah, we're
Go
here.
ahead.
We're here as Ben and Drew. This is one of our patented behind-the-scenes Patreon Schmoedown takeovers. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I have a debilitating back injury, and I have been living on the couch for 3 weeks. Haven't really gone anywhere. Can't really walk. Losing function of both legs.
I've been
this morning.
his live-in nurse. I haven't. I can't do it.
Probably there's some sort of emergency surgery in my near future. But as it stands now, Schmoedown must be downed. Must be schmoed.
It must be Schmoedown, and you just Schmoedowned against Paul Preston. Paul is also going through a really rough time right now.
Yeah. I mean, emergency surgery sucks. Paul's looking at some pretty big-time stuff. They raised a lot of money through a GoFundMe for his wife, who has pancreatic cancer, which we all feel very, very badly for her. I mean, it's a terrible, brutal illness.
Yeah.
And it was really amazing at this match to have them both there, and she was there.
Oh, she was there.
She was in the audience.
I honestly couldn't believe that he was there.
Yeah,
honestly.
It was pretty wild, to be honest. I found out like about 24 hours before our match that was what was going on, and it was a real emotional day for a lot of people. I mean, this is the first time I've ever had like a life-changing, debilitating kind of injury where I can't really move. And I just told myself I have to get up and get there. So I had taken 0 painkillers the day before. So I was in a lot of pain, but I wanted to try to be clear-headed. And I went into the match like just on ibuprofen.
You were still a little fuzzy, you told me.
Oh, yeah. I had been taking Vicodin, bunch of Vicodin every day for like 3-4 days at that point, and like a week, and barely alive. And went into the match, and there was just a feeling of, I donated to the fundraiser. He knew that. He thanked me before the match. He's fighting through emotional stuff. She's trying to be there and just be present. It's exciting for him to be doing it. I'm there just like, I can't believe I'm standing, but I really want this, and I've wanted this for so fucking long.
Yeah,
I am not going to back down and just lay on the couch. I have to do this.
Never back down. One of the 3rd best movies in the world.
Sean Ferris.
I love him.
Terrific.
He's a very talented actor.
He's handsome. He's one of those guys along the way that people were like, oh, he's the next Tom Cruise.
No.
Lasted about a year.
First of all, no one's the next Tom Cruise.
First of all, you'll never be me. Second of all, I forget your question.
All right, so let's get into the match. Talk to me. So you were there. I'm sure you guys were very friendly before the match. A lot going on.
We had done our studying. I do a thing. This is a lot of you guys know this. I've talked about it enough now. I tend to find one of the best methods when you're getting ready to play someone is to go watch every single question they've ever answered in the Schmoedown. It's a little time consuming. It takes a lot. But I always feel like I learned something. And so what I like to try to do there is I like to watch everything and look for patterns. And what you'll see out of a lot of players nowadays, top-level guys, there's not usually a pattern of information clear enough that you could figure out that you have, say, much control over a generic category.
Right.
Like if somebody is just okay at comedy in the questions you've seen, I feel like they could just as easily be good at comedy if they get the right questions.
Yeah, exactly, because it's so broad, whereas if it's just like a straight-up actress or a decade or something like that, you can kind of pinpoint it on them and put that on the wheel or,
and you can start to feel out people's personalities, too, in real life. I think this is something interesting. This is the kind of stuff you guys will literally only ever hear on these behind-the-scenes things, because I don't want other people to know this. But you can play a little bit of match game as far as people's personalities, the types of movies they watch, the era in which you think they would have watched a lot of one genre. There's stuff that's kind of common, right? If you're in a big transitional coming-of-age phase, you probably are looking for a lot of movies that are about growth and that have a lot of meaning at a certain point. So maybe movies like that, coming-of-age movies, you're going to expect someone to watch sometime in like the high school, college years. That's when they would matter as much.
So you think about like that in that decade, those types of movies, and you're like, okay, so maybe I'll steer clear of that for him. But it depends on the person. Depends on what they've missed. What they've missed, honestly, is probably the most important, because then it starts to show. All right, this is
right. They're not as good here, and so I look for stuff on Paul. Going into the match the week before we filmed, or maybe it was 6 weeks before we filmed this. Right when I knew I was going to play him, they asked him for a team match he had coming up, categories, and the categories he gave, one of them he said in front of me, and he said, "You didn't hear that." I'm not going to say what it is because that's all stuff that airs at a different time. point is, I learned something about him, right? I learned, and I learned that there was something that he thought he knew well enough to put in a category in that match. And you look at the categories they keep. So anyway, long story short, Paul's a beast.
Yeah.
You can tell by the kind of round ones he has that he's a real elite level player in terms of knowledge.
This was a sweet round one.
This was exciting, and I went into this match. I sat down. Ellis gave us both a hand for both showing up, and you know, cool. I could feel he was clapping for me. I was clapping for him. I was like, man, this is fucking tough. But when you get into tournament season, there's just something about it. You just feel like I can get there. It's just one match away. It's always you're so close, and you
didn't really trash talk him at all.
No, some in the pregame. You know, I was pretty. I'm still at this point pretty like
you're a tweener, man.
Yeah, and I'm like a serious tweener. Like now, I think I'm just so frustrated having lost, and I start to look at my record. You know, my all-time record. Like when I went into last year's
shaky
gauntlet,
record, man. It's a shaky record.
You shut your mouth. This is my moment.
No. I'm still here.
How did you get in here?
I got a key. I made it while we were asleep.
No, I made a copy while you were sleeping.
Seriously.
Going into this match, you know, there was just this real feeling of like, we're going to get through this. One of us is going to come out of this, and we both love it so much. Paul loves it. He's a convert. It's one of the things.
Clearly,
it's one of the things I like so much about the guy is that he's a dude's dude, and he goes in and he loves this shit.
Yeah,
and I love
it. I love his trash talk. I love everything
funny.
he says. He's hilarious.
The shaker.
His whole bit is just the best.
Your old news pal, like he's a dad. It's funny.
So going into your round one, I actually did pretty well.
Yeah, it's a good round.
I did miss one.
Let me see if I can guess which one you would have missed.
So let's go through it. You know, I don't remember every single question, but I did just watch it recently. So you guys are just rolling.
Yeah, it's one for one. There's the Carol question. Who plays Carol?
Yep.
You know, there's a bunch of stuff in there. There's the bonus question, the Men in Black one that we both get.
How did you feel going through the round when he was just neck and neck with you? Were you like, all right, this is kind of what I expected? Or you were like, dude, did you think there was a question he was going to miss that he didn't?
If you go through my matches now for the last 6 months, I would say that most of the time I'm a 7. So I just expect at this point when you're playing against a player who has like a pretty broad level of knowledge, you just expect 6+ now. Like if your opponent gets 5 or God forbid like Kalinowski's we got 3, that's just a gift and you take it. But I mean most of the time you got to assume Paul Preston's viable for a perfect round. And there's a lot of great players with bad records who are the same way.
Yeah.
I would expect McQueenie could get a perfect round easily against me, no matter what. He's got a similar record to my own. I would expect fucking Mike could get a perfect round. He just got one like 2 matches ago or something. Like you see players where you're just like, you're at an age, you know enough. This could go your way and you could get 9. You always just assume. So with him, I could feel it. There was stuff that we both went 1 for 1 on. You know, his...
you checked on one, he checked on one, and it was yours was who directed the gift.
Yeah, so that was an interesting moment, right? Like, I talked about and by the way, guys, I'm in a lot of pain, so I might stand and sit here.
That's why we're shot out so wide here.
It's
a Hollywood trick.
In case I stand and kind of lean forward like this, I'm still kind of in frame.
Look at that. Oh my God, we planned ahead for once.
Holy shit.
We're growing up.
We're not recording sound. I'm just kidding.
Jesus, that would have been horrible. You got me.
You got warm for a second.
I didn't.
So round 1, I think there was a feeling, I felt really locked in. I felt like the pain was focusing me in some way.
Yeah.
It was kind of like,
just get through this.
Well, because every single time a question would be asked, this is what would happen. You can I'll explain it on my repeat, because my repeat was in horror thriller, which is a category that I always, my hair stands up when they say it, because it's one of my weaker categories.
Yeah.
Historically, I don't do as well. Same thing like I said about comedy, where 50% of the questions I'll just know, but there's kind of commonly known shit that tends to be, anyway.
Yeah, there's really deep comedy questions that seem very obvious to some people.
Exactly. Horror is very wide. So they asked this horror question. It's who directed 2015's The Gift. Now, I know immediately when they ask this question, I go, okay, I know the guy that directed this movie. That's what my head said.
I know it.
That was the first thought, because he's friends with our friend Anthony, and we know Joel Edgerton from Warrior because we've met him at several parties. We just kind of are in with that movie's crew. We know a lot of those people. So the first thing I write down is Jason Bateman, because Anthony used to tell me stories about hanging out with Jason Bateman. But I never met Jason Bateman. But I've met Joel several times. So I wrote down Jason Bateman and was like counting down, and I went, my stomach's not at rest. I can feel that I know the right answer, and this is not it. So repeat. Think through the steps again. Go back to the first thought, which is I know the guy, and I think, okay, it has to be Joel.
Yeah.
Because I've met Joel a bunch. So I write down Joel Edgerton. It's correct. Buys me the point.
Have you seen that movie?
No.
Yeah, it's all right.
But it's like him and Rebecca Hall and Jason Bateman, right?
Yeah.
And I think I also thought about, I saw Boy Erased, which was Edgerton's movie that he directed this last year. And I was, with, what's his name from Manchester?
Casey Affleck?
No, the kid
Michelle?
is in everything now.
Jacob?
No, I'm fucking on pain meds.
I know his name.
I know his name, but it'll come to me. Lucas Hedges. Lucas Hedges gets thrown into like a Christian reform. You're not gay. You're sick.
Got it.
It's that kind of a story. Mm-hmm. His dad is Russell Crowe. Nicole Kidman's his mom. It was a big movie, but I just remember thinking last year, there's no way Edgerton gets to make that movie unless he's made something else people liked, and people liked The Gift, which is why that movie happens.
That's all right. Yeah.
So that was sort of, I guess, the whole thought process that takes place inside of the one repeat. Otherwise, round one, I think I was impressed that he kept getting everything right. There's a lot of stuff I assumed he would get right. There was stuff that I thought maybe he misses, like Toy Story 4 was one that I was like, maybe he didn't see it. You know, Sporky. Like
I missed Sporky. I missed Sporky?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah, there was that one. There was like
the Black Mass question.
Black Mass, yep. There was Black Mass. There was
the Men in Black question was, come on, that's so easy.
The funny part is that back in the 2017 tournament, Deep Cuts missed that question versus us in the tournament. So season to season, you do get some recycled questions. It happens.
Yeah. I would not have said anything.
Yeah. So we finish round one. Mm-hmm. It's 9-9. Perfect.
Yep.
When that happens, they call out, that is Ben Bateman's first perfect round. And I was like, that's incorrect.
I mean, it's the first time in singles.
Because my other perfect round was against you guys in teams, the fake match. With you and Finstock. Me and Finstock.
Did you have a perfect round against me in Houston?
No, 7.
Oh, okay.
My perfect round in teams was that fake match.
Okay, got it.
That handicap match.
Singles, got it. That was a handicap. That was straight up. It's gonna be just like it's gonna be just like whenever I play you again, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you good.
You're talking about me.
Talking about me. So you guys, also, this is just the whole thing. Round 2 is the exact same thing as round 1. You guys are just rolling, but kind of in a little bit different way for Paul, because he spins spinner's choice.
Yeah, so this is a really interesting moment in gameplay. You can still see the rookies who are figuring it out. They still don't have the same grasp yet that the true, like, dialed-in mathematically pros have.
Psychopaths.
Yeah, there's not that many of us who have done it like numbers-wise like I have. Levine used to do it. Mm-hmm. But you start to figure things out logically in the game. Not stuff that's normal that people do, but you start to actually figure out, okay, I can understand why this puts me in a position to do well. Mm-hmm. He had put directors on the wheel. That was one of the categories he put on. Now, he put directors and 80s.
Yeah.
Neither of those are categories that if you get a spinner's choice on and you go to it, you should really expect to be able to get 8 points.
Unless you're Drew McQueen.
Well, you can. Don't get me wrong. Like there are people, it'll happen.
Yeah.
But you also could very likely get a bunch of sort of oddball director questions.
It happened to us a lot with Action Adventure when we started out. It was like they started getting very obscure and deep or just like out of our range. And so
if you ask me there are 11 David Fincher movies. If you ask me a David Fincher movie question, it's very hard for me to miss it because I can recently remember having seen every one of those movies. If that's on the wheel and I've requested it and I say spinner's choice, I should take something with a very, very, very low threshold of information because I can learn it.
It's more narrow. It's just simple math, honestly. So he goes to directors and he does get some weird ass questions.
His first one, being You Can't Take It With You and something else were both directed by this Oscar-winning director. The answer is Frank Capra. I knew this because it's an Oscars question. And he had to go to multiple choice to get it right. So that happened, and at first he hesitated. And when he went to multiple choice, I was like, okay, that was a big moment. Yeah. Because you just took spinner's choice. We were neck and neck, and you just had to go to multiple choice on a question.
First question.
And not only that, I would have gotten it right, which makes me feel like
you should have said that. Yeah, I guess. Well, you don't want to be a dick.
So it goes to the second question, and it's.
The second question is it's not the Costner question.
It's what actor directed last year's mid-90s, which is Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill.
I saw that. I reviewed it. I really liked that movie.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you told me that.
So he gets that, but again, that's not surprising. That's top level. He pays attention to the news.
Just came out.
Number 3, how many theatrically released films have been directed by Kevin Costner? Now, this one is a crapshoot because it's hard to remember that it's 3 versus 2. You get mixed up when you start thinking about Waterworld and The Postman. You can't remember which one he directed, if either. Dances with Wolves. Some people remember Open Range, but it's a mixture. And then there's all those sports movies that you think, oh, maybe did he direct that fucking thing? Did he direct some shitty movie like Swing Vote or something? But In the end,
That movie's awesome.
I just think to myself, I don't know if this is 2 or this is 3.
Right.
I think this is 3, but if he says 2 and it's wrong, I'm definitely guessing 3. And if he guesses 3 and it's wrong, I guess 2, but I get this right probably if he gets it wrong, which is exactly what happens.
Yeah.
I assume it's 3, he says 2, I get the points. That right there is
That's
the
a
whole,
big-
that was the whole match.
Yeah.
That was the biggest
It's a
swing.
big turn right there. There's a big turning point because then he gets one more question and he gets it right?
Yeah, he gets, I stole 1 2-pointer,
Yeah.
and I think he went to multiple choice on 1 and maybe got the other 2. Yeah, he did, because he got 5 total. I think one of those 2 questions that he got at the end there was,
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
well, I guess that was 3 questions, actually. But I already...
So, no, I'm saying there's one more. Oh,
Yeah.
No, you get 4.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the last question that he got was in the category.
I can't remember. Anyway.
It was something that we definitely both knew, because
Yeah.
he got 2 points on it. So it goes back to me, and he's up 3 points.
Yeah.
And so at this
Not
point,
great. Not great for being 9-9, only being up 3 points.
I really liked the wheel. I was
Yeah.
pretty confident. It was a bummer that he got directors off the wheel because I like that category. I mean, if I land on it accidentally, I'm happy to take it. I didn't like that he had 80s on there. That slice has been not very kind to me.
Tough
But
slice.
you know, I spin and I hit movie release dates, and I kind of pause for a second because I'm like, I've done this a lot recently. I could get one of those sets that has a couple bad questions in it, and is there something stronger? But I just thought the steal opportunities are very low. Even if I get out of this right now with 5 points, that's it, and I'm up 2 going into the final round, I still have a major advantage.
So is this why you go to multiple choice on a couple questions? Is it to save points? Because you and I have always talked about going to multiple choice movie release dates. It's like kind of a crapshoot.
I'll tell you question by question. So what it actually is that movie release dates as a category, I think of myself as somebody who will go 5 or greater, right? That's it. Whether he steals points as well, I think I can get 5 or greater. It's a hard steal category, and what else am I going to spin that's really going to make me feel that much better? So I take it. Question 1, who directed Shutter Island? I knew right away. Took my time just to make sure.
When did Shutter Island come out?
Yeah, I'm fuzzy in here, and I'm just like, every question, it feels like I'm kind of having to reach into a cloud and like find something to pull out. So I get Shutter Island, that's how it starts. The next one, can't remember what the second question was, but it was one that I got. Oh, it was what year did Top Gun come out?
Oh, right.
So I didn't hesitate on that one just because it was like Cruise, and I just was like, fuck yeah.
like, just do
TC
it.
Legend.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
nail it.
just, people are going to be complaining about this. I'm going to get it. So the question 2, I do that. 86. He's like, it shouldn't even be a question. Which is on character for him, which I love.
So great. And then, so the second to last question.
Second to last question is what year did Trouble with the Curve come out? And Trouble, I see there's a text on my phone here. It might be Riley. He might be waiting outside. My phone is right there.
Mark Riley.
Mark Riley, who's coming over here to have a conversation with me about some things. Is he? Okay, nothing from him yet, so let's see what he says.
Care about you, man.
So Trouble with the Curve. Now, what happens on Trouble with the Curve for me is I go, that movie came out in 2012. But I'm kind of mixing it up with, like, For the Love of the Game and, like, again, Swing Vote for some reason.
Swing Vote.
There's just,
favorite movie.
those sports movies from around that time period. There's another one.
Is that a sports movie? Swing Vote?
No, it's
No,
a
it's
politics movie.
Yeah.
No, but, like,
There's swing in the title.
Draft Day. No, what is there was another one. There's Trouble with the Curve. The Upside of Anger, I think, is the other sports one.
So
anyway,
good.
whatever. Point is, I heard 2012 in my brain,
Uh-huh.
but I looked at the score and I was like, all right, so at this point, I'm up 1 point right now. I'm already up 1. If I get this on multiple choice, great. If he steals it on multiple choice, fine. I probably get a 2 point on the last question here. If I say 2012 and I'm wrong and it actually is 2013, then he's going to get a 2 point steal. Just by the fucking, where does he place it in his mind? And if he doesn't see 2011, he's going to say 2013 because he knows I'm good at this. So he'll just go up 1 year, which will get him right. He has that shot. I could feel it. So I was like, I'm only giving him 1 if that's the case. And I didn't feel good enough about it to just go for it. So I went multiple choice.
You go 2012.
Repeated the question because I wanted to make sure I wanted that multiple choice. Got the 2012. So now, at this point, I'm up. At this point, he was up 3. And now I've gotten 5. So I'm up 2. Final question. This was the huge moment of the match. A lot of you guys didn't see this. So you keep checking the time just to make sure that we're doing okay here. But
ish.
the
So
question
this
is what time.
controversy.
Yeah. And you guys didn't see this, and this is I'll be light on it just because I know this wasn't shown much of the match, but this was a real moment. So they asked the question of what year did Akira Kurosawa's Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai come out in the United States. Now, Paul says 1954 on a steal after I say 59. I was pretty sure I was going to get this wrong. So I went to multiple choice again, just to negate the points, just in case he somehow knew, because it's pretty famous. He might just know. And at this point, right, I'm up 2, so if he steals 1, I'm still up a point, that's the essential piece of this.
Right.
So this is my final question as we go in the last round. I have to maintain a lead. So if we go 10-10, I still come out. So I thought, okay, I can let him steal 1, but I can't let him steal 2, because we're tied. And so go to multiple choice. 59, it's wrong. They give multiple choice options to him. He says 54. It's right. Finstock and Dan start waving their arms. Finstock says challenge.
I'm sure Finstock was the one that knew.
He's looking at me and he says challenge, challenge, challenge. And I was like, Paul's like, what the hell is happening? What's going on? Who is that? Why is he here? And like, and Dan's like, you got to look at this. You got to look at this. And Mark's like, you guys can't challenge. But Ben, are you challenging? And Finstock's like, and he's like, all right, I'm challenging. Yes, we're challenging that.
Yeah.
So challenge it. Okay, we'll be back for a challenge. And Paul's freaked out. He's like, what the hell is this? Where's my manager?
Yeah.
And Christian's like, you need a manager.
You need a manager.
And he's like, what the hell is going on? And so they look it up, and it turns out that, even though 59 is wrong, 54 and 56 are multiple dates shown as the U.S. release for this film all across. And so they said, we can't award him the steal point because it's wrong. They have all the options, and we gave Ben multiple choice in the first place. We gave him wrong multiple choice options. So if one of those is wrong, it's confusing, and the misinformation out there affects the question. Because if that information is not available to them, it's the same to me.
Yeah, so the fact that the multiple choice answers were wrong, I think you should have gotten some opportunity to get another question and the multiple choice for like a 1-point answer.
That kind of would have been the other theory, I think. I just think that the problem with that is that if the question pertains to a detail about a film that's not readily available information, then the question's broken in the first place. Because if what I'm getting my information off of is IMDb, but I look somewhere else and I get another date.
No, what I'm saying is that you should have gotten just another question, but only been and you should have gotten another question and heard what the multiple choice answers were for that question, and then been given 1 point for getting it right.
And I could have seen that. That would have been fair. But I mean, again, that's not something we decide. They decide something else. So
yeah, and you obviously are happy with the other choice they decide. They just give you a new question.
They give me a challenge. It's a fresh question. It's what year did Dracula and Frankenstein both debut originally? And I happen to know 1931. It's from one of the study guides I've made a long time ago. It was, I've given the example before, actually, of this story. I don't need to go into it. It's like associative memory that has to do with the image of Boba Fett that I put on something from 1936 because Immediately on the Bounty came out in 1936 and it won Best Picture. And so a picture of Boba Fett on the thing in my mind next to that film's name pertains to the year, which is Bride of Frankenstein, 1936, and I happen to know it's 5 years later. It's so like the tree of reasoning that comes back to those like associative.
You just blacked out like Frank in Old School.
Pretty much. It's fucking weird. They talk about memory palaces, and they're not very well built, but there's definitely some levels in my brain.
Yeah, you should watch that show that I talked about on the stream. There's like a sweet show about the mind.
Yeah.
The mind on something. Anyway, so then we go into round 3. You get the 2 points on that question.
Yeah.
So you go into round 3. You're up 3 now.
I'm up 3 points because of the 2 on that. And Paul's not happy, and that's a hard moment for him. That takes your spirit out a lot. You definitely slow down, and it's hard to get out of that moment when you feel like you've been wrong in a match. The adrenaline and the embarrassment kind of that goes there is just kind of like, it's like next level. Do you want to pause and handle this real quick?
No.
Oh, you don't want to? Okay.
You're just going to do this.
We got a phone call coming in. I think I just saw Riley. I was texting real fast.
God, why should I answer the fucking phone?
Well, we've got people. You do.
We got to wrap. Hey, baby. I'll be there in like 10 minutes. What are you doing? Okay, I'll be there as soon as possible. All right, bye. Okay, all right. I'll see you soon. Bye. We gotta wrap this up, man.
Yep. And the driveway. All right, we'll just snap from here in round 3.
Okay.
So we go into round 3. I'm up. I'm feeling good. It takes a lot of your spirit out when that happens to you. It is really hard to recover, and we've been there. New players definitely struggle with that, I think. Just the mental hurdle of the game, staying in it.
Yeah, not having a manager, you feel like you're at quite the disadvantage, and you just don't. Yeah, you just feel like you pitched a perfect game going through the first
Yeah.
round. You get your category in round 2, and the questions don't fall your way, and then you get a point to steal, and then it gets taken away from you, and you're just like, well, what am I going to do?
Right, and we're both going through it, so it hurts a lot harder when you get knocked down. It's pretty hard to pick yourself back up. But he goes in the final round, we pick our numbers, and I've been pretty quiet with my smack talk this game. I've given him a little bit of juice, but not much. I mean, I'm really just barely holding on myself. Gives the numbers, it starts
What are you
out.
looking at?
Just making sure the audio's still recording. I just
Stress me out. I think there's a cat back there or something.
So he picks his 2, his 3, and his 5. His first question, do you have to remember what his first question is? I think it's pretty easy.
First question, I can't remember off the top of my head, man.
Yeah, I don't necessarily remember
We just listened to it right before recording
Yeah,
this.
yeah, I don't necessarily remember his 2 and his 3, but I believe he gets both. I know that he misses his 5, and I only have to get my 2-pointer.
Right.
So what ends up happening in the third round is it all goes pretty fast. I could feel his energy. He was stressed out. He was losing.
His 3 was who played the role of the husband who cheats. Or no, that's his 5. So his
his
5 is the
pointer
possession question.
is really hard.
Yeah. You can talk about it.
Oh, and I know what his 3-pointer was. It was the Jodie Foster Freaky Friday question.
Yeah,
which
that was
a
a good pull.
good pull. That's an age pull. That's where his like having played this longer and remembering that movie a little closer to the original.
Peter Weir directed Russell Crowe and Paul Bettany in 2003 film.
And this is huge because when he gives the answer of Master and Commander, doesn't specify and they move on.
Oh, yeah.
I would have challenged that he needed to say The Far Side of the World because it is a specific title of that film.
Mm-hmm.
There are sequel talks. He didn't specify it. That's not the title of the film if he just gives the short down. Now, I don't know if I would have won, but because I had already won that controversial challenge, I didn't want to do it.
I feel like you would have, and it would have just been the biggest kick in the gut ever.
Yeah.
Because it's true. I mean, that's the name of the movie.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, so I didn't challenge it. It worked out in my favor to not have to worry about the points. But, I had that moment to just be like, okay, like, I remember this is how this works. And,
Your 2-pointer was...
Yeah, and my 2-pointer was...
It was, I thought you would have known it right away, but you actually, you repeat it, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I know what it is. It's the Monsters Inc. question.
Yeah.
And again, you talk about a brain being fuzzy, and this is the kind of thing what happens. It's like I keep talking about these steps you have to go through, and what it is they ask the question. I go, okay, it's Mike Wazowski, and I go, but what is Sullivan's first name? If I can think of his first name, then I'm going to hear the line of "You're the best scarer we've ever seen," something Sullivan, and that's going to confirm for me that I'm right, and I'm not screwing this up. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't Mike Sullivan. And so I took that extra second just to kind of like organize the letters and was just like, Mike Wazowski, she's talking to the eye. That's what she's in the hospital. And Boo looks at him. She says that. That's right. So I go with that.
Yeah.
I get it. And, people talk about me going to the last second, but it is literally that gameplay that keeps my percentage of accuracy high. And so I do that.
And you see people mess up all the time because they just jump the gun.
Right. They say the wrong word.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you got to use your advantage if you have it. And so I did. He gets his 3, and then he gets a tough 5.
Yeah, possession. That's a tough question.
I think I missed possession. Yeah, I don't think I get that question right.
No way.
But it was a tough match. I mean, I went 15 for 15. If you throw out the challenged question, the questions that were answered that counted in the match, I didn't miss a single question. That's what you have to do now. That's the fucking insane part. I went 15 for 15 in my questions.
And he still, and you still had to answer
was pretty
your 2.
close.
Yeah, only 2 questions left.
If he had hit his 5-pointer, I was going to have to do some work.
Yeah.
And that's it. So that's what we deal with now. Paul's a phenomenal player, really talented.
He's out.
And that's gonna be the wrap up. You're gonna have to hear about the next round after we do that one. But we wanted to make sure you guys had this day of. I'm feeling really good going into the third round of the tournament. You guys have all seen.
Can we announce who it is? Or?
Yeah, Stacy already has played Brendan.
He's good.
The Shazam as a team is good. He's good. He knows a lot. He knows a lot about a lot of categories.
I like him on camera.
Me too. He's got good energy. One of his best categories is movie release dates. Another one is Oscars. So this kid is like it's like me fighting Dark Link in Ocarina.
Right.
I have to defeat Dark Link.
Destroy him.
So I'm excited about it. I feel really good about it, and I'm excited for the teams tournament coming up around the corner. So thanks for watching this, guys. We got a jet.
Yeah.
I'll be probably out of commission at some point soon, but I'll let you know. So follow along with everything we're doing. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/teamaction. Tons of cool stuff coming out there all the time, and an exciting season of tournaments. Thanks for sticking with us. Bye, everybody.
Bye.